Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/idontworkherelady, where people tell us their craziest stories on when they got mistaken for being an employee at somewhere they didn't work. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some Reddit stories. She obviously doesn't work here, Mum. This isn't one of those get berated by Karen TM stories. It's actually kind of funny. So about a month ago, my friend, after weeks of convincing her parents to let her have a crested gecko, finally got the okay from them, so long as she went out and bought all the supplies herself, since their work schedules wouldn't allow them to go with and help. We don't have anywhere to buy gecko supplies where I live. The nearest place is about 50 minutes away, so she invited me to go and we made a day out of it. Anyways, the only place anywhere near us that had stuff for geckos was the PetSmart of the nearby city, so we had no choice but to go there. My mum also gave me $20 to buy my dog a new rubber Kong bone, since he had destroyed his old one, a little important later. Once we got to the PetSmart, we started filling a cart with all the supplies she would need for her gecko, based on the research she had done. We got to where the heat lamps were, and she was stumped. There were a bunch of different ones, and she couldn't remember exactly which kind she needed. I assured her that it was no problem. She could do a quick Google search and I would go and find the bone for my dog quick. With that, I left to go to the other side of the store. I hadn't been to this PetSmart in a while, so I wasn't sure where exactly these bones were, or if they even had them since we ordered his last one online. I just walked to the dog toy section and started looking. In the middle of my endeavor, I accidentally hit a few things off one of the racks, and so I started to pick them back up. I noticed a lady watching me out of the corner of my eye, and I thought that was a little strange, but I'm not one for confrontation, so I decided to let it slide. Besides, I figured she probably wasn't even looking at me, just scanning the aisle. When I finished, I found the dog bone and happily retreated out of the aisle, where I almost ran into the lady who was watching me, and had an amazing interaction with her and her daughter. "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to almost hit you." The nice lady speaks up. "Oh, no worries. I did have a question for you though." Me, confused. "Oh." "I was wondering how much your dog pools cost. I wanted to buy one, but I couldn't find the price at all." Now, it's important to mention that the PetSmart uniform is primarily a dark blue shirt and khaki or black pants, and I was wearing a red t-shirt with black athletic shorts and my beautiful, awful tie-dye Crocs. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't work here. I was just buying a bone for my dog." The nice lady, clearly embarrassed. "Oh no, I'm really sorry about that. I saw you putting the toys on the shelf and just figured you were refilling it." "Oh, it's alright. There's an employee over there though who would be able to help you though." She thanked me and apologized again, turning to go to the employee. Her daughter eyed me and then, turning to follow her mum, said, "Mum, I love you, but she clearly doesn't work here. I don't think athletic shorts and Crocs are part of the uniform." As soon as she said that, I started laughing, and I walked back to find my friend, who had picked out the perfect heat lamp. I told her what happened, and we still laugh about it occasionally. She laughed when I told her I was going to post it on this sub. So yeah, it was refreshing not to have some Karen argue that I do work there. I'm going to put the pictures of the geckos on screen if you're interested in that as well, because that was a good story. This one's kind of sad and sweet, an interaction with my elderly neighbour. From February to September of 2018, my family, me, wife, 11-year-old daughter, hosted a 14-year-old foster child. The kid's time with us ended last September for reasons that aren't related to this post. Fast forward to this year. In May, through a church connection, my family was connected to a family from another state who had a college-age son prepared for an unpaid internship at my city zoo. For the sake of saving money, we agreed to let him live with us as our home guest for the summer. He would leave in the morning and come back in the afternoon, very obviously dressed in his official uniform as a zoo employee. My 89-year-old neighbour met with him a few times. This is a really sweet man who doesn't really track very well anymore. His daughter lives in the same house and works from home, so she can help take care of him since his wife died several years ago. 2 weeks ago, our house guest left us to go back to his college in his home state. Late last week, my neighbour asked after him, wondering if we could lend him out some of our house repairs. Turns out the neighbour got our zoo guest confused with the foster kid from the year before, and combined with the zoo guy's work uniform, somehow got it in his head that a foster kid was actually hired live-in help. It took a couple of conversations since then, combined with support from his daughter, to move him past his misconceptions. That's really good to hear. He's got good neighbours and he's got his daughter as well, because they'll help support him a lot. Karens of all types. Okay, so this one is going to be a little different than what most of you are used to. I work on the West Coast running my own business as a cybersecurity consultant. I'm 35 and have been in the business a very long time. I have around 10 employees, however, the one we just hired is a special case. Very special. She is one of the dumbest smart people I know, and her attitude says she graduated with honours from an Ivy League school, and that means she owns you. Since I'm the owner of the business, I leave most duties to my senior security engineers, so she has probably only seen me a few times in the 3 months she's worked for me. The cast: K for Karen, me, yours truly, and MF manager friend. I was out shopping for supplies in the office, and I decided I was gonna stop by my local Sam's Club for some lunch. I used to work there when I was in my early 20s, and I was friends with the now manager of the specific store, while we were cashiers together. It's worth mentioning that since I was heading to the office after this, I was dressed in my formal business attire. I promise it comes into play later. The Sam's Club Cafe has some of the best food in my opinion, for the price that they offer. I finish my food and have a chat with my manager friend. They then go to do manager things, and I go throw away my paper plate that was provided to me for my pizza, when I start hearing screaming coming from the cafe counter, which isn't even 10 feet away. I look over to see what is happening. What do you mean you're out of frozen yogurt? Do you idiots even keep anything stocked? This was a common thing to happen in the summer, since everyone loves their frozen yogurt. Karen looks at me and rushes over. Manager, you are going to do something about this. I want that man fired right this instant. He was rude to me and called me a witch for asking for frozen yogurt. I don't work. She cut me off before I could continue, but it was then I started to realize she looked familiar. I don't care. You will fire this little brat right now, or I'm contacting corporate over this. After that, it clicked. She's my employee. I can't do anything for you because I don't work here. I thought about telling her, but I wanted to see where this goes. Karen jabs her finger into my chest as hard as she can and twists it. Listen, you idiot. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm leagues smarter than you. The only reason you work here is because you're a reject who couldn't finish college. I almost burst out laughing at that comment, but I composed myself. At this point, the actual manager, my manager friend, comes running over and asks what's wrong. Before I could explain, Karen steps in. He, pointing at me, assaulted me and verbally abused me while refusing to fire this employee. The girl behind the cafe counter, who at this point looked visibly horrified. And as his boss, you better fire him right this instant. If you don't, I'll have all your jobs, you insignificant clowns. Yes, she really said that. She called us clowns. How ironic. Me, pretty much fed up now, I revealed my real identity. Karen, I'm OP, the owner of this company. The consultancy you work for. We just hired you a couple months ago, right? I showed her my badge with title name and picture on it. Her face turned whiter than snow. I saw her jabbing her finger into you. The cops are already on their way. I didn't think it was possible, but her face turned even whiter than before. She looked like she was about to hurl. Anyway, the cops showed up and look at the security footage, and without even asking me anything, they handcuff her and take her away. They talk to me and ask if I want to press charges, and I say yes, court date pending, and later find out from my manager friend that she yanked the cafe girl by the collar, slapped her, and pushed her back before I had seen her yelling. I asked the cops if I could have a word with her before they drove her away, since she's my employee. They said yes, and I walked up to her sitting in the cop car, hands cuffed behind her back. She is about to speak, but I held my finger up in front of her face. Ahem. For someone who graduated with honours at an Ivy League school, you're pretty dumb. I was never impressed with your work, and now that you're here, I doubt you'll ever get a job in the security field again. Don't bother showing up for work anymore. I had to add that last part, cause I knew she'd be out on bail. Her husband is pretty wealthy too. Never thought I'd run into a Karen that actually worked for me. Oh my, imagine that. You're like raging at this person. Obviously, I know none of you guys would be, but this Karen raging at this person saying, oh, you need to fire this person right now. And he's like, well, I can't fire her, but I can fire you. Nope, I don't work here anymore. In 2017, I worked at Walmart in the automotive repair part as a technician. Basically, my job was to do oil changes and tire rotations. The most boring and menial tasks for someone who had gone to school to be a mechanic, but I digress. I got let go in November of 2017, another story for another day, and have since gone to work at another retail store and a gas station just down the road from me. Now, the retail store's uniform is all black. The gas station has a black polo with the store logo and khaki/tan pants, whereas Walmart employees have blue shirts, khaki pants, and often vests, or distinct uniforms if in the auto shop plus work glasses. Now that I've given the uniform information and my minor backstory, on to the Nightmare Karen. I went into Walmart the other day to get new shoes, as mine had finally bit the dust and needed replaced, so I could work in comfort. I found the shoes I wanted/needed easily, size 13 4E, aka 13 extra wide, and proceeded to check out. I was in my gas station uniform as I'd just gotten off work, but I also had on this black and grey flannel my sisters got me for Christmas last year, and I love it. I also had my earbuds in so I could tune out my former co-workers and managers. As I walked, I could hear some noise through my earbuds, but I ignored it until I felt the signature pain of one being yanked out of my ear, which prompted a not too polite response. What the actual heck? You do not pull someone's earbuds out like that. What do you want? Karen, a 50-ish woman with that Karen hairdo, cheap sunglasses, and a very ugly green shirt. That is no way to talk to a customer. Now, tell me where I can find coloured pencils for my son for school. Screw off. I don't work here, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to help you. Karen, unamused, you will show me where they are, and when we're done, I want to talk to your manager. Me, realizing this won't end until she gets what she wants. Fine, I'll show you where they are. I had seen Jim in that aisle before, and I knew he'd deal with her before I blew a gasket at this miserable woman. So I led Karen right to the aisle, and thankfully, Jim is still there trying to talk to a trainee. For clarification, Jim is a 6'1", 400-ish pound black gentleman who is fair to his employees and to customers, when they're fair with him. Thank you. Now, go get me your manager so I can complain. Jim, turning having hearing this, what can I do for you? Karen, smirking, perfect. This employee was listening to music on the job and being rude to me. Me, rolling my eyes. No, I was shopping for my new job, and she came up behind me and yanked an earbud out and screamed at me unfairly. Jim looks at me and chuckles. Huh, ma'am, he doesn't work here. Hasn't since right before Thanksgiving. Karen, furious. BS, I know he works here. Go get me your store manager so I can get you and him fired. This is the time I'd like to point out, Jim is the store manager. Well, one of the two, and both were on duty that day, but the other one was on his lunch break. Ma'am, I am the store manager. He doesn't work here. I was here when we let him go. I signed his paperwork and shook his hands while he was respectful to me. He's a respectful young man, and if anything, he reacted like that because you were rude to him. Now, you can either keep your mouth shut and apologize to both of us, or you can leave the store and never come back. Your choice. Karen does not like this and snaps, going to take a swing at Jim, who took the punch with the grace of a saint. Karen turned to me, seeing my phone in my hand. What do you think you're doing? Getting a picture for the police when they get here. At that moment, the 911 dispatcher I had on speaker spoke up, and Karen went white. Oh, and I caught the video of you hitting Jim in the face because you didn't get your way. I'll gladly give it to the cops when they get you in cuffs. Already long story short, Karen was arrested and Jim charged her with assault. I got my shoes and the police took my video as evidence. Karen has been banned from that store, and aside from a bit of a mark, Jim is fine and laughed about it while I paid for my shoes. Why do all these Karens just randomly hit people? I don't know what goes through their head, especially some huge 400-pound guy. If you're gonna hit him, he's not gonna get hurt. You're not gonna knock him down. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.